Get you some money, you're gonna feel different.
Straight up.
You might even, all that other advice I could have gave you, this is the short version. You know, get you a couple dollars, man. You're gonna feel different.
Net hustling. Big shout out to SPI, Spotter Low. You know, I'm in the black box, had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned, all that.
Back in that box that's black, even in all white. Oh, my mama, man. Y'all heard me. I reacted to shout out to Keep It a Benji from Compton. I reacted to a video where he took umbrage with the fact that Cartoon53 has certain things to say about the city of Compton. I reacted to it, and during that reaction, I announced that I would be no longer trolling Cartoon53, right? I said I was going to take the mature route. Not that I appreciate anything that we've experienced any more than I did when I was trolling him. I just felt like I was going to take a mature route. Got multiple phone calls from individuals subsequently telling me, Cartoon don't give a fuck. He coming hard for your channel. He's made an announcement. I'm still not going to troll him. Just because somebody hits me with feminine, weak-ass energy, just because somebody else is in their feelings, just because somebody else has no idea how to conduct themselves, doesn't mean I have to follow their lead. However, I was tagged in a video description. It says a day ago, but I just saw it this morning. And Grape Street Gotti by the Watts, California has a title that says, Cartoon, Tony, don't speak on Watts in Compton. Grape Street Gotti reacts to Tony. So, hey, with no further ado, we finna see what Grape Street Gotti says Cartoon53 has been up to. I think I like this style better. Yeah, there we go. Bam.
Back at you off 103rd, ready to tap in on this dude, Tony Cartoon, for speaking up on Compton and Watts. Now, Tony Cartoon, Compton Rick Rock is Compton Rick Rock. He's not on here on behalf of Compton and Watts. He's on here like everybody else as an individual, just like you. You're on here as an individual. You're not on here on behalf of LA.
Or 53 Avalon. Shout out to Blue from Avalon. In my reaction to Benji's video, Blue made it his business to show up in there and say, Cartoon is not from the set. Shout out to Cub.
So when you mention Compton Rick Rock, leave Compton and Watts out of it. And then it seemed like you subbing. You're not disrespecting. No, you didn't disrespect, but it seemed like you subbing. When you saying another dude is doing some whole shit, and then you saying you don't know what's going on in Compton and Watts. Like, don't attach Compton and Watts to no individual that you feel that's doing some whole shit or got some whole shit going on. That's that individual situation. Has nothing to do with Compton and Watts. That's like saying, oh man, that nigga over here doing some whole shit. Like, damn, what's up with these Compton and Watts niggas? What you mean what's up with these Compton and Watts niggas? Come to Compton and Watts and find out.
You have to keep in count, Cartoon actually spent decades out of this environment way in Alabama. So he's probably more Bama boyish than he is Cali kiddish. You feel me?
Said you don't know what's going on in Compton and Watts. So you shouldn't even be speaking on Compton and Watts if you don't know what's going on in Compton and Watts. Speak on Compton Rick Rock. Whatever Compton Rick Rock got going on, that's Compton Rick Rock. Has nothing to do with Compton and Watts as a whole. And then Compton Rick Rock from Compton. It's the hub and the dub, for sure. But you throwing Watts in a situation on the individual that's from a whole nother city. That's like me throwing another motherfucker from South Central, from another gangster hood, in a situation with you. Like you just doing all kind of twisted shit. So that's why I'm speaking on it. Because Compton and Watts have nothing to do with Compton Rick Rock. That's Compton Compton Rick Rock, whatever Miss Spotyface got going on, that's him Miss Spotyface situation. You ain't seen nobody else from Washington Compton getting that. So why is you opening your mouth, semi-subbing on some shit that you feel that's related to some whole shit? Or a nigga get marked out? Don't never associate Compton and Watts with no nigga that's getting marked out. Even if you're from either one of the cities. Don't mention Compton and Watts and none of that shit.
Grown men, a part of the street culture, no, you don't take one individual that do some buster shit and then generalize a whole section. Just because one nigga from that section is shining, don't mean the whole section is on deck like that. Oh, my mama.
And what no individual got going and what no individual doing. Compton and Watts is Compton and Watts. Compton Rick Rock is Compton Rick Rock. You're not disrespecting, but you say you don't know what's going on in Compton and Watts, but you're speaking on Compton and Watts. If you don't know what's going on in Compton and Watts, then Compton and Watts should have never came out your mouth. You just stick to Compton Rick Rock. Don't ask what's going on with Compton and Watts. You got to come take a trip and find out. You're an older dude. So back in your days, have you paid a visit to any of the projects in Watts? Have you came to any one of them zoos? Now,
I have, including his. He been to hit the ones in his real friendly to him for sure, because I was in it with him, Avalon Gardens, but I'd have been in the Avalon Gardens, Jordan Downs, Imperial Courts, all since we've been all congregating in these YouTube streets doing this together. There ain't no brag. I just thought about it because the homie brought it up.
I know people you know, but none of that, just on some shit like, I'm cool with these niggas and shit. Let me roll through and fuck with my Watts niggas. Have you ever tapped in back in your...
Crazy, because I came to the Avalon Gardens just like that, just because Cartoon was in town. Keyway. And started a whole bunch of shit, but God worked in mysterious ways because I'm so grateful. Jeter, shout out my nigga Magic from Avalon Gardens, East Side 8897. For Death Door, if you know, you know. Lil Suge, what it do? Oh, blah.
Your days on being cool with some Watts niggas and pulled up in Watts to know what's going on in Watts. Like, leave Compton and Watts out of the situation with Compton Rick Rock. Go preach the Bible with something. Talk about Deuteronomy and some of that shit, or Matthews, or Hebrews. Go talk about some of that, man.
Hey, I'm just saying, it's not too late. We all seen you jump out here and say you were through with this conversation, bro. You said on this channel, it's going to take some time to figure out moving forward exactly what you was going to call it and what you was going to be talking about, but you would no longer will be discussing things of this nature. We accepted it, respected it. Nobody laughed at you. Nobody treated you funny. I guess you started seeing less money, but hey, if it take away from my spins, I hope it take away from my sins. I mean, you got to do the math.
Leave the streets out of this shit. The streets don't have nothing to do with Compton Rick Rock. Get on Compton Rick Rock head. Call Compton Rick Rock out for a favor.
Nah, you want to do something to me.
But leave Compton and Watts out of it. You don't know what's going on in Compton and Watts? Do not speak on Compton and Watts. Mr. Cartoon, it ain't nothing personal.
I know what's going on in Compton and Watts and still don't speak on Compton and Watts.
I just got to check in on the situation to correct you, because you said you was checking, keep it a Benji. You're right. You did not disrespect Compton and Watts, but you semi-subbing when you mentioned the dude who's supposed to done some Mark shit and saying what's going on with us. What you mean what's going on with us? But that's how I'm taking it. Let Compton Rick Rock be Compton Rick Rock. Let Compton Watts be Compton Watts. I'm on here as an individual. I'm not on here as behalf of my city, on behalf of my hood. But when you mentioning Watts, I'm going to say something. Especially if I feel
I couldn't have said it no better. That's my position exactly. And I'm not going to always say something when you mention the set. But if I do, I don't give a fuck how, who, anybody feel like it. I'm going to speak on the set anytime I decide to when it's being brought to a public conversation. But I skip a whole lot of conversations that I'm an expert at. Sometimes niggas be on here discussing current events that I know all the details about, that I could even correct. I just, man, it ain't my thing. Go ahead. Been living in the same city 50 years. What the fuck you thought?
something about the city. Only time to us to know whole shit. Compton all wise. To no individual doing no whole shit. On here podcasting. That's Compton Rick Rock and what Compton Rick Rock got going on. And his beat have nothing to do with no Compton and Watts, have nothing to do with no Compton Watts versus LA. Spody Face on here as Spody Face, as an individual. So don't try to put shit in the mix with your semi-southern Tony Cartoon Franklin. Nigga, I'm gonna keep it a Benji. And what I'm saying,
I'm gonna keep it a Google. Cartoon, I'm through trolling. You lucky because he can't fuck with me. He trying, but that nigga Gotti dry as a motherfucker. Cut on, giggle, laugh. He talk just like that on every video. You could take every video and just play them back to back. And don't show the video on the audio. It just sound like one long ass video. Don't sound, that nigga don't change. Monotone in a motherfucker.
leave Compton Watts out of Compton Rick Rock shit. If you don't know what's going on in Compton Watts, do not speak on Compton Watts. Because there's gonna be Compton Watts versus Tony. Cartoon. That's what it's gonna be.
That's crazy. I'm from Compton and Watts. My daddy told me the set was Watts until, you know, white folks started making certain lines. But we walked from my daddy house to what is now Ted Wilkins Park, Real Rogers Park, all my life. That's a foot walk. And that's definitely Watts. If you know, you know. Front Streets is Watts. We can walk to the front streets in seconds, not minutes, in seconds. So did everybody know my birth certificate says born in town. It don't say city, it say town. I think he might even say T-O-W-N-E, town, Compton. So definitely, I'm from a hub and a dub, East Side dub.
To do with LA. We're gonna be on your head.
Not the car, just the areas. Digitalize.
Because you the one making the slick comments. And I'm not going for it at all. No, you ain't disrespecting, but you serving, nigga.
Exactly how I got into the back and forth for Auntie Hefe, which led me to mention Monster Cody, and this is what caused Cartoon53 to betray what I thought was a Christian stance and get involved in gang bang drama. That's crazy.
So clean that shit up and stay on Compton Rick Rock and leave Compton Watts out of it. This Grape Street got it. Hey.
Yeah, what he said on my mama. That's the homie. He ain't feeling what Cartoon said about his city, nor about Compton. Neither did Keeper the Benji. Y'all let me know in the comments how I'm doing. Not trolling. I'm reacting, not making it personal. I might share an experience with this individual, but I think I did a pretty good job not trolling, keeping the maturity level at a level that I respect, and I just hope Cartoon doesn't go further in his feelings and do what he claimed, what I've heard that he was going to do, And that was like aggressively, fiercely attack my channel for sitting here and just,
What the hell? Oh my God, no way.
and I think I deserve it for not trolling.
Get you some money, you're gonna feel different.
Straight up.
You might even, all that other advice I could have gave you, this the short version. You know, get you a couple dollars, man. You're gonna feel different.
Next little Nip Hustle. Big shout out to SPI, Spotter Low. You know, I'm in the black box. Had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned. All that.